Most leaders crack under pressure, but the great ones, they become unbreakable. I could tell you some stories about in my time of leadership, some things that literally could have broke me, but I learned that those same situations are what made me unbreakable. I could tell you about times when people that were in leadership may have done certain things to me and to prevent me from getting to the next level. I could tell you about things within my personal life from my wife and I having a stillbirth, or my wife almost losing her life through pregnancy. I could tell you about that through all those particular moments, I still had to lead a business, a youth department, one of the largest youth departments in the United States. And I want to talk to you today about what makes an unbreakable leader. Hello, everyone. Jeremy Sanford here, award-winning keynote speaker and growth consultant. And I want to welcome you to the Mastering Success podcast. Today, what we're going to dive into is what separates fragile leaders from unbreakable leaders. Because let's get real, anyone can lead. That's easy. And what I oftentimes say is there's a difference between a leader and a manager. A manager just manages. They tell you, okay, you need to get this done. Did you get it done? A manager has a checklist and a checkbox. But leaders are so much more than that. Leaders are those that actually they create more leaders. Leaders are those that have a higher capacity than most people. And what I mean by a higher capacity, they have a higher capacity for pressure. What breaks most people, leaders find themselves actually thriving in those moments. Good leaders are those that they know how to manage a team, but great leaders are those that actually they leave a legacy. They create other generational leaders. And I've oftentimes said this that the strength of your leadership is oftentimes seen in your succession. If you are the best version of what that company offers after you leave, then you probably haven't done a great job of creating other leaders. Great leaders are those that create other phenomenal leaders. And so, if it's all about you, if it's all about shining the spotlight on you, then this potentially a good case that you may not be on that level, but I'm here to help. And that's why we are diving in today on the Mastering Success podcast to delve into what separates the unbreakable leaders from those that are very fragile. Let's be honest, business is not for those that are weak. CEOs, executives, entrepreneurs face high stake decisions all the time, constant uncertainty, and overwhelming pressure. I mean, just think about it. If you're watching this video on today, there's a good likelihood that you are a leader in your own capacity, whether it is leading a company, a youth group, maybe just leading your own personal family. And being a leader comes with a lot of pressure. Some of you may be pastors, or maybe you're leaders in other capacities. Well, I want to commend you because the pressure does get hot. It does get heavy at times, but somehow or another, you find a way each time. And I want to commend you for that. But yes, business is not for the weak. It's not for those that are fragile, but business is for those that are willing to lead. And the question is, how do you thrive when the heat is on, when you are in the midst of the fire? Do you break, or does that fire actually refine you? How do you lead your company? How do you lead your team when the future of everything is on the line? And I can speak from that personally because as a new husband, as a new father, I have now experienced the pressure of everything kind of like being on me. You know, if things are not in place, if we don't have a house, if we don't have the lights on, it basically falls on me. And that's a new pressure. But thankfully, through prayer and God helping me, where I've been able to still get through and to be successful in spite of. So being a leader comes with a lot of pressure, and that's what I want to talk about today. Some of the seven traits of an unbreakable leader. Before I do that, I want to give you some statistics. The truth is, most leaders don't survive the pressure. Studies show that 60% of executives report feeling burnt out, and nearly half of all CEOs admit to struggling with mental exhaustion. And then another thing to kind of keep in mind um, is that there are people that are elite, the leaders who don't just survive the storm, they own it. They don't crack under pressure. They get sharper, stronger, and more strategic. They are unbreakable. So you have those that get burnt out. And in 2023, this based off of my own research, so many CEOs got burnt out and ended up getting, just throwing in the towel basically because they felt like the pressure was too much. But you that are watching on today, I'm sure that you're watching this with the mentality is that I'm not going to be that type of leader that's fragile and that throws in a towel. But I have that level of resilience. I have that level of motivation and determination that I'm going to get through this difficult time. And so that's what I want to do on today, on this podcast, is to give you 7 traits of an unbreakable leader. Number one is that the best leaders, the unshakable, the unbreakable leaders, are those that have an unshakable focus. They don't let distractions, setbacks, failures break their vision. They lock in and they execute. So when you think about the leaders that are on the level of greatness, they have a focus that most people don't have. It's almost like when you think about a bulldog or a pit bull, once they lock on to whatever it is that they have, their jaws are just, it's almost impossible to get that thing out of their mouth because they're so locked in. That's what leaders have. They have an unshakable focus. It's almost like once they set their sights on something, it's almost impossible to get them off of focus and to convince them that success is not possible. And so leaders have a tunnel like vision on what they are after. If they are looking to have their $1 million year, you cannot tell them that it is not possible because they have an unshakable focus, unshakable faith, a belief system that to many seems unreasonable. Number two, the great leaders, they have extreme ownership. They don't make excuses. They recognize that the buck stops with them. They recognize that the full responsibility for everything, the wins and the losses, comes down to them. And so when you think about leaders, when you think about those that are exceptional leaders, they are those that they own it. They own the success and the losses, the wins and the failures. They recognize that I am responsible. And when you get to that particular place where you recognize that I'm responsible for the health of this family, for the health of my organization, for the health of whatever it is that I'm touching, it has a different type of mindset that causes you to say, I own it and we are going to be successful and we're going to forge forward. Number three, leaders have strategic adaptability. They don't just react to problems, they turn them into opportunities. And that is where your creative juices begin to flow. Because if you're a leader, you've got a problem set before you right now. Either you can, fold your head and say, we're not going to get through this, or you can be strategic and adapt to the situation and say, you know what, this is a situation where we're going to turn lemons into lemonade. We're going to turn this bad situation, a piece of coal, into a diamond. That's what leaders do. They take situations that seem impossible and they turn it into something that is strategic and is something that is valuable. You could say that they are resourceful. They don't waste. They allow every situation that they go through to be something that can be used to their advantage. For example, if you go through something that is a difficult moment, they use that story to maybe inspire their team. So everything that comes their way, they adapt to it and they turn problems into opportunities. Number four, The greatest leaders have mental toughness. They have mental toughness. You can't be a fragile leader if you expect to be a leader of men and women. You can't be a fragile leader if you expect to go to the next level. The best leaders, pressure does not break them, it actually sharpens them. They master emotional control and they are very resilient. The best leaders, they get knocked down and they get right back up. They get knocked down and they get right back up. They get knocked down and get right back up. They get knocked down and they're trying to figure out, okay, I got knocked down, but the next time I'm gonna put in some reinforcements where it's not as easy to knock me down. And then on the next time, they're getting a little bit stronger. Then on the next time, they got more confidence. On the next time, they're knocking you down because they have that mindset of mental toughness. They are unbreakable. You think that you can stop them, but their toughness, their mental toughness is what separates them from the rest. And part of the way that you can build mental toughness is the mind. You got to think about it. It's a muscle. So you have to learn to train your mind to turn bad situations into looking at them as opportunities. The best leaders, they don't get down and out and quit because they have a mindset that says, we're going to get through this. We're going to turn this around. It's going to be okay. This ain't the end of the day. They look to leaders, and then sometimes they even look to, and I learned this from one of my mentors, Heather, one of my coaches, Heather Monahan, and also um, Melody Borden. One of the things that they taught me is that's the ability to look back at some past successes. So sometimes you're struggling to figure out, okay, how am I going to get through this? But you should have a journal of the past successes to say, you know what? I done got through tougher stuff than this many times. So this is small stuff. All right, let's go and let's attack it. Let's go at it. We know that we're gonna get through this. Yeah, it seems tough, but this is just another day. It's another Tuesday. It's another Wednesday. Let's get it. That's what leaders have the mindset of. Number five, the greatest leaders have relentless execution. They don't hesitate. They make decisions fast, adjust as needed, and they keep it moving. Um, some people are not leaders because they don't know how to make a decisive decision. And part of the reason that they don't know how to make a decisive decision is because of the fear of getting it wrong. But leaders understand that sometimes a quick decision has to be made, and I'll make the adjustment along the way. I might have to build the aircraft while I'm flying. But leaders know and are willing to make a decision fast, they don't hesitate, and they keep moving forward with relentless execution. Number six is that the best leaders, they have elite level communication. In chaos, they bring clarity and they inspire action and confidence in their teams. I'll say that again. Number six is the top leaders, and I have a ways to go. I have room for improvement as well. The top leaders have elite level communication. When you think about the top generals, even within our army, those that went down to be, what we consider to be our heroes, the reason that they became our heroes is because how they thrived in the midst of chaos. They brought clarity. They galvanized the troops in order for everyone to have confidence and to believe that a win and that the victory was possible. And then lastly, the greatest leaders have the ability to lead through fire, whether it's crisis, a failure, or an impossible challenge. They show up, they stand strong, and they push through. And so these are the seven traits of a great leader. If you're a CEO, executive, or an entrepreneur, and most likely you don't need motivation, but you need a strategy to become unbreakable. You need a strategy on how to go to the next level. And that's what I do. I help leaders to build resilience, to build motivation, to build confidence, to not just manage, but to dominate. And so if you're ready to go to the next level, all you have to do is just type in the comment section, next level. We can do a free discovery call, and we're looking to take your business, your leadership to the next level. Again, this is Jeremy Sanford, your personal growth consultant. This is the Mastering Success podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.